She is self, the lover, the inspiration, the image, the authority, the mirror, the distance, memory, time itself. That's Tisa Bryant from a conversation Tisa and I published on the She Saids in 1999 in How To. I'd like to start with a quote from Akilah from a Poetry Project newsletter interview I conducted with her, mainly about her performance in Arriving Guard of Angels, Thusly Coming to Greet, the text of which was published by Farfalla Press in 2004, and which is also in her 2009 Coffee House book, A Toast in the House of Friends, which is also happily back to being available. 10 copies I ordered several months ago arrived last week. She responded to a question I asked her in relationship to her work on lamentation about the relationship of the deceased with the public and social world. She said, somebody who didn't know Alucci, to whom I showed a picture of Alucci, asked how old he was. I was really thrown off. I was like, he'll always be 20. No, first he asked, what was his name and how old was he? And that threw me off for a minute. I felt his name was Olucci and he'll always be 20. The panic that arises in me is that, of course, his name is probably not Olucci anymore, and he's probably not 20 anymore. Perhaps it was some of this panic and grief I felt this week while in the grateful work of coming to this introduction. It threw me too. I want to first thank Marcia Oliver and Marqueta Kilgore and Laura Meyers and HR and James and the Belladonna Collaborative organizers for inviting me to introduce this celebration event. Happy birthday to you, beloved Akilah. Always also Akilah to us. And I want to say to Akilah, congratulations on 60. You will always be a little and a lot my elder. And warm and loud happy birthday to beloved other poets close to us, LaTasha Diggs, Omar Barada, Bob Kaufman, and Suzanne Goldenberg, and so recently, a couple of days ago, Essex Hemphill, Bill Mazza, Irena Klepfish, Tracy Grinnell. Yeah. Amid our grief, it is clearly also time to party. As I say, I was floored at first by the sadness that accompanied approaching writing this, all the while so happy to be with so many beloveds, and to be buoyantly celebrating Akilah and being wildly in love with her on her 60th together after 10 years of missing her. I'm grateful to Stephen Motika, to Rachel Zolf, to Ann Waldman, Marcia, Marqueta, and Laura for the book, and to Tracy Morris for the introduction, and Barbeo Barros-Gizzi for the artwork on the original and the reprint. If you have the original, I encourage you to get the reprint for Tracy's remarkable introduction and for the great design. How do I tell the story of her participation in Belladonna, but to begin by saying there is no part of my path as a poet that is separate from her. I met Akilah the first day of my MFA at Naropa in 1996, where I took her Flesh Memory workshop and thus began my thinking on performance and writing, always informed by her radical ability to be fully present. Of this, I wrote about her for that 2003 interview, quote, between poet and audience lies a vast reservoir of space and air. Some poets push through it, striving to achieve a liftoff between paper and ear. Belladonna was for me the way I made a walking path to being a poet after being a feminist and a lesbian and someone committed to the struggle against structural race inequity and living radical politics in a daily manner. This closeness are conversations. Akilah is Belladonna's architect, witness, guide, and a helper to the project, and always to so many of us. She once talked to me about a child coming to New York City, watching that child be floored by all the details that made the city, this New York City, a comment I think of every time I take a walk, a practice I have that is in no small part because of her. And Akilah, as you will hear this afternoon, was, along with Marcella Durand, who is coming from a protest to save East River Park, which she has organized with Sarah Riggs, Eileen Miles, Emily Johnsons, and others, the inaugural reader of Belladonna at Blue Stockings, where she read from She Saids. 10 years later, from that first reading, in 2009, a batch of us met to turn this wonderfully anarchic, intergenerational, messy, brilliant, caring body that was Belladonna series to Belladonna Collaborative in our then new studio space at 925 Bergen Street, from where James now sends you our chaplets. And around that table, on that hard to reach fourth floor, tall, narrow steps, Erica Hunt will tell you, somehow what I recall most vividly is the manner in which she took her seat and in which she got up to go down those stairs to have a smoke and come back. And a year after that, at Naropa, students protested the racial crisis at Naropa's summer writing program, initiated in part when an African-American student solitarily protested her isolation there as a Black student. Akilah was fully participating with the students and their demands that Naropa do better. I mention it because of her clarity on action, on killjoyism, and also on my memory of the force and yes, buoyancy with which she sprang into motion, from relaxed and hanging out to being present in this way that is home and homey to the necessity of confrontations, rage, articulations, insistence. In writing this and in being here, I hope to renew my own striving for an Akilah-like radical being there, voicing and singing all the crazy details of one's, to quote Saidiya Hartman, beautiful and experimental life, a way to honor the remarkable she's who didn't survive, but who, while they were alive, helped us, guided us, said yes to us. There is a way to be free. Thank you, Akilah.
Another morning, she says, a red sea of ambrosia is my God's nectar, and my God's anonymity wails in tongues. Pawned in once a Negro time to St. Louis, a little girl, with grandma and cold fried chicken did go. And passenger trains shank underground, and desire and need. Sweat under armpits and I smell streets. And sad morning rises like baptismal mist from the steamy holy water in which we try not to drown. And close to floating is the saddest kind of survival.
Thank you, Kim, for starting us off. We actually have Colette Jackson, who's going to read Akilah's preface, if we can be briefly out of sequence and back up to before the first poem. Colette.
Thank you.
Sorry, start briefly with one moment before Colette too. Thank you.
Oh.
Well, thank you for that great introduction, and thank you everyone for being here. It's my birthday. So. All of you to be here is quite a wonderful thing. These are some poems from the She Said poems, the book out. I think I'll just start reading them. There's an introduction in it that I won't go into that says something about breaking down or challenging essentialist notions of identity or something like that. And, you know, I was reading Spivak and Yorkie Spivak or Spivak. It's just all gets no, Spivak. And I learned that there's something called rhizomatic and transplant. I read a lot of theory for fun, and I try to teach it sometimes, but so, you know, this has nothing to do with theory.
Yeah, so this is Colette Jackson, and I am reading for Michelle Clinton, and thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'm sorry that she's sorry that she was not able to make it, but it's disappointed, and I am also very glad that I can step in and do that honor, because it is an honor. Michelle has known Akilah for a long time. Knew her. About the poems. The American Heritage College Dictionary definitions. Flesh. 1A, the soft tissue of the body of a vertebra, consisting mainly of skeletal muscle and fat. B, the surface or skin of the human body. 2, the meat of animals or as distinguished from the edible tissue of fish or fowl. 3, the pulpy, usual edible part of a fruit or a vegetable. 4, excess fatty tissue, plumpness. 5A, the body as opposed to the mind or soul. B, the physical or carnal nature of humanity. C, sensual appetites. 6, humankind in general, humanity. 7, one's family, kin. 8, substance, reality. Memory. 1, the mental faculty of retaining and recalling past experience. 2, the act or instance of remembering, recollection. 3, all that a person can remember. 4, something remembered. 5, the fact of being remembered, remembrance dedicated to their memory. 6, the period of time covered by remembrance or recollection of a person or group of persons. Postmodern poetry and performance art definition. Flesh memory. A text, a language, a mythology, a truth, a reality, an invented as well as literal translation of everything that we've ever experienced or known, whether we know it directly or through some type of genetic memory, osmosis, or environment. 2, the body's truths and realities. 3, the multiplicity of languages and realities that the flesh holds. 4, the language activated in the body's memory. What I am trying to do in these poems is investigate the nonlinear synapses between desire, memory, Blackness as both a personal identity and a non-essentialist historical notion, sexuality, and language. There are many encoded references to pop culture, gospel music, and African-American colloquial speech. The block form is a kind of container to hold the narrative or dialogue for some of the pieces. I see the poems very much as an exploration of flesh memory, as a field of investigation. I think for me, part of the importance of this text is situated in the ongoing work I've been doing in performance with the concept of flesh memory, as it relates to a critical interrogation of the African-American literary performative tradition. That tradition, what I consider to be couched in the sacred profane dichotomy, a dichotomy which Du Bois called double consciousness, is an outgrowth of a necessitated survival mechanism, which has split Black consciousness, not only in terms of the outward homogeneous mask donned as a form of cultural preservation, but also in terms of the internal discourse, what is permissible to speak. The work I've been doing consciously seeks to disrupt this tradition, to play not only with language and form, but with the representational idioms of Blackness, femaleness, homogeneity. The bluntness of the sexual references, often linking the sacred traditions, church, gospel icons, with the profane, pussy, fucking, is one way the dialogue seek to work as a kind of insurgent text within the African-American literary tradition. I see the dialogues as part of the emerging outsider tradition in Black literature, which restates memory and identity in a post-civil rights framework, a framework which is multiplicitous, which supports a dialogue that questions and challenges existentialist notions of what an African-American literary dialogue can be. Stretching the dialogue, admitting the contractions, investigating the truths, making itself up as it goes, refashioning the Black female tongue. Akilah Oliver, November 1998. Thank you, Akilah, for so much.
Are we ready this time? Okay, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit there. I am Akilah's little sister, and I'm gonna read Another Morning, she says. Another morning, she says, a red sea of ambrosia is my God's nectar, and my God's anonymity wails in tongues. Pawned in once a Negro time to St. Louis, a little girl, with grandma and cold fried chicken did go. And passenger trains shank underground, and desire and need. Sweat under armpits, and I smell streets. And sad morning rises like baptismal mist from the steamy, holy water in which we try not to drown. And close to floating is the saddest kind of survival.
First take before sunrise, she said. Sweet tongue sifting stained glass over dust tracks down a road that ain't Georgia. This time of dark morning, this is the face I give for scarification unbathed. This is the teeth I use in plural disagreement. A people long ways from shore. This is the ear, no, these is the ears. I want to hear sound slight as gesture, bellowing way down in my belly, baby, way down in my belly, bellowing way down. Disquieting morning, I breathe and act outside my will, strangely lifelike.
Gently she tucks her hand under my chin. She says, don't be afraid, your demons are your friends. Night becomes you, so said little angels dressed in red on the way home from parties where the dead bless the damned. Confusions date the air, smoke goes easily into passageways between dreams and regret, passed onto those who willed themselves generations. Rams with Aries tags skittering across wide boulevards in brownie uniforms. Think the pledge worthy of remembrance. How do you wake the dead cushioned in sheepskin car seat covers? Enter the angel. Some hair lingers in her armpits. Pick up the butts to smoke. Down in the streets they lay in shades of blackness. Not the celebrated dreams of nationalist visionaries who want it all romantic or nothing. Look for lit veils. There are so many ways to pass the time on earth. The sorrow, the grief stands in line to be recognized. Stop to hold me. Sidewalk voices cry out, grocery baskets with debris of lives stacked high. You have to pray at the mission before you get food. You have to pretend Jesus loves you. Have to pretend you care. All the things I want are in mountains and oceans and flowers, delicate as baby's blood. My blood. Bury the placenta and come home. Breasts echo, promise and good times and chopped wood. Travel down a road, a horizon, wolves mark desert night. Slow dance at house parties, reality unarmed. Everybody have a good time. All right, you freaks. Stereo, red, black, green beads dangle from Afro-fashion braids. Who betrayed the dream? Flimsy protection of skin sheds its collective memory time and time again. They are all so innocent with their pimples on. Snort the perfume. Feel better now. On the way to somewhere, the little child said, it's such a nice town. They must be hiding something. Pleasantries and manners and Southern California slave culture. Snip. The girls took sewing, the boys took shop, and the worlds were ordered reams of notebook paper. Then your mama slaps you in the face. Then you vomit in an alley in a strange town. Then you fuck yourself with a cucumber dildo. Then you feel good. Then you look at all the gun-toting boys in ice cube scowls calling you bitch, and you disengage. Then you put some dope in the pipe and you smoke it and you feel nothing. Then the sun cuts clouds razor-edged and redemptive. And you feel, sigh, evil over arid city hustles food. Stop the progression of civilization. The pursuit of happiness is killing, as seen through partially open blinds. Telephone wires stretch across sky, tops of trees, Christian cross in clouds. Symmetrical truths, the nonsense takes all night, a way to survive the dark. Peer at first light, the choir in robes, crimson, menstrual blood of angels, I bleed. Red, patron color of grief and birth, and all forms of self-inflicted wounds.
Sin and salvation are twins. Summer lets go its sail, touches the bottom of my gut. The soul does similar tricks without an audience. I see there is no separation between the earth and sky. Elvis Presley already died to be anointed king by ghost seekers. Compartments of space invented to live in. Artificial dominions of good and evil fail to impress. The great depths to which I am likely to fall. Search for soul. I don't mind if Jesus is my friend. I want my friends to answer when I call. Faces of children smeared with lullabies to a redundant Satan. It is not that I am personally guilty, only culpable, capable of falling, more probable than flying.
Once upon a time, she said, old folks, scotch and malt liquor in the living room. Do the mashed potato, child, break it up. Upholstery plasticized. Uncle Spooky Tales sandwiched between floorboards. Justify the continuation. Lives go on, so free of godly instincts. Open those doors and let me breathe. No sea takes me home. I witness bones on the Atlantic floor, chiseled faces, short vowel sounds trapped under centuries of sediment. Let the cow jump over the moon. Tell mama you love her. Don't think you can live no more in that room. All the exquisite summertime gone.
Is this me?
Think of the words as angels singing in your vagina, she said. I'm a mental well schizophrenic. I fuck ghosts I know by name, 1975. Radio says I want this pain to stop. Bedspread friction, chorus. For a long time afterwards, the rush is enough. See, isn't that nice? Oh, stretch marks. I want to make you a shrine of doll heads and pins. Nibble on a metaphor, I say, when I'm unable to say anything. But then you had to go. A long time afterwards, blood stains on your t-shirt were smashed rose petals. The stains, innocence. Rain, is it? You waking me in slumber, or is that my lover's voice crashed against smooth back? Continuous orgasm, bites pavement, glass popping, bristly hair rubbed lavender, tongue swallows whole, all the seductions, wet. Taste me, I could have been at home between your legs. How she sings like that, how she sings like that, how she know just then is when I need to cry. It's the reciprocity of beauty that makes me doubt myself. You, it's the wetness I want. A vessel into the endless zone where no roles exist. Amen. Understand the blood comes out like this. Jagged sky, if you don't believe me, no verbs will follow the suicide noun. Don't just stand there. Thank me for coming.
Handing me the needle, she said, "Here, make your wish." Simple language of a tree. I misunderstood. So used to the shouts of lips. Sit up and tie your shoelaces. Mute with a stolen voice. The well-slept dream always has a twist. White patent leather, shoes dangling from a chair. Why take these little things to heart? Dear somebody, cover my tracks. I cannot feel myself. My bones are not mine. Orphan sky, adopt me, please. Humanity has not been kind. Applaud, faces etched in glass, crude animals pose. Your mama's good looking. Words fly, capable of decapitation, what I would want.
Several paths to yourself, she said. In front of Kmart, a man collects coin for a Pan-African Jesus. White and slow flakes collect the cascading love in my hair. Simple acts. Cars pass through. Who can tell love in these times when children break like expendable dolls in hands of those who will later plead a biological defense? They are extensions of my anger. He cried too much. She wanted too much. Situate in the moment. Beer foam melts into glass. Who will remember the way it was? Safe, when knowledge was knowing words of a commercial ditty. Dance to extinction. I want to be a rock and roll star. I want my excesses congratulated. In a movie once, in a school once. The tenement dwelling boy saved a cat. His welfare mother in house coat when he got home. I liked the idea of a strong mother until I was one, a tenderness in poverty. Face it, you know the statistic. Thinking these words will make you special. Someone said we were the first generation to reap the benefits of desegregation. Black kids in Compton call Mexicans white. No, 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 I cry. The white people are all dancing on Soul Train. How strange this privilege. The telling of the story may be more important than the story itself. Those who loved without condition wear placards on their breasts, brush a shriveled finger across your speaking lips, ask if you've misplaced your name.
It doesn't matter how you fall into light, she said. Now approach holiness in memory. Wizard scatters leaves, the little things, basking out the window, air adorned aches. To be invented, vulgarize the living sentence, trampled daisies, a mind, shake the long night, unplanted placenta, every failed insurrection in cotton fields. I am where the sun has gone, sugarcane and pathetic. Look, Ma, no hands, bodies jump overboard. Taste is addiction, enough. When horny, think of sexuality and gods, less than 100 identified in LA County. A bell tinkles on an ice cream truck. I shouldn't be no ways tired. Tell me it's Saturday, reason to wear something new. It's all right. Breathe their air, the urge to kiss. All this time I thought I should have done something else.
I think, she said, you'd be happier if you could remember a wise saying. Home, repeat like prayer. Winter is here. See the torn brick? Soured breakfast juice? Seems like a good description. Folks won't ask no questions. See? It all fits together. Find another rainbow. All the music, Otis Redding singing in Algeria. Damn. An exclamation, I added. The world of machines, a necessary imposter. I guess the P stands for Panther. I don't claim all the action, only the dream.
Oh, there I am.
Sickness can be salvation, she said. Night angels sent me wailing across minefields. Wake up. Do you want to rock and roll? I could have said stop. I wanted to see it enter. Come on and have a ball. How far the sky goes. Nobody be careful. Then act infinite. I say the soul. I say my soul, inaccessible to whims, done with linear thoughts. Pele on heroin twisting behind chicken wire. Stutter. Clouds bellow in Spanish. I could have said stop. I wanted to see the needle enter. Who would have thought we'd mourn? Innocent wonder of it all. I wish I could speak without betraying somebody's delusions. Willful confusion. As if we could be contained in a given time. Pass the sugar. The honey's all crystallized.
I don't know if it's supposed to be me or not. Can you hear me? I don't. So
We
she
can hear
said,
you.
huh?
Yes.
Thank you. So she said, this is what we've been missing. Golden valleys, all of us tumbling through, flying such scenery. We are, we like to view a wayward grasp at flying such scenery we are like to view. Go head on, snap, snap, snap. Walk away from the center of reality. I don't know where that is at um, at. Forget what is forget what is said in the world of touch. Anything you want, baby. Marilyn Monroe promised. Ride flames, trashing thighs. Find a field where plantain and cucumber grow. Eat from the vulvous sphere. Snapshots. Endure, smile, lucky. The world is a firecracker, and don't you forget it. You safe. All these kids missing on milk cartons. Fall away from the centerfold. Small breasts, alone on a beach. Sing. This is the imperative. All this time away from heaven. All this.
We forget, she said. I want the metaphor clear. I want to clarify. You get what you want if you want it hard enough. Bullshit. Take it like truth. Gurus and gods, tender buttons. I wanted to say that. Wait. If we wasn't at least half spirit, why do we always be trying to fly? Angels in distress. Jamborees in the morning. Slick taste of cocaine coursing down throats. I never saw a clown I liked. Subterranean train stations, gum and cigarette and strange candy wrappers. Men eyeing the foreigner, me. All the time I hear pieces of St. Louis. Somewhere in the clouds, Carly Simon. Clouds in my coffee. A pop reference. Why pretend we hear Plato speak? Open wide, send the soldiers out to pasture. I see Snickers, his high yellow nigga better than the best don't fuck with me stance. Champions we be, waves received. How come we don't make any more mythology? In Finland once, all night, the sky was day.
Is that Tonya?
She said, let the little squeals assemble. Talk around the obvious. The whole country's going to shit. And you too. And me. A street. Stuffed with flowers. Warehouses of scents, dog dew on the path. A man cries dry coughs. Let's go for a field trip, kiddies. Up, up, and away. The cow. Was it the cow? Was it a moon? Prostitute? Caught up in a groove. Repeat offenders. Jump. Yeah. Keep time. Papa don't take no stuff. Jealous breasts around the maypole. Hunt the illusion down. Faraway languages sound check the air. Right. I want my pen to flourish. Fancy deaths. Off-shoulder strapless black. Cliché. Linger unknowingly in lit spaces. Fire beckons. Always call first. Like a good girl. Pretend to be deaf.
Discard the proud robe of victim. Sky is whistling. Oh, the little earthlings. Some other synonym for free. Move. The beat of another drummer. Shh. We're having a brilliant time. Sexual acts performed in the town square, town mall. Woo the angels. Only a woman can empty so fully the beauty that is the pain's opposite. Honey, inhale their air, cover my eyes. Silly bandit, this is the way I want you to kiss me.
Hey everyone. Happy birthday, Akilah. 60, 51. She said loss, lost, page 19. Tina Turner on acid yodeling in Arabic, however goes the night. Yesterday rocks touched my feet, seaweed soaked jeans in pigeon stained sand. Pigeons masquerading as seagulls. Haven't seen them for a long time. Lots of things gone. Belle on an ice cream truck. My favorite line already happened. On the radio, a voice sounds like a teasing 3-year-old, and the horn section goes na 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 na. All cocky, close-fisted salutes. How come nobody mentioned clitorectomy with they dashikis on? Like we were afraid a closed look, a criticism, a rejection of a fixed ritual would pop the bubble. Dreams are fragile like that, concealing as much as they reveal colors prescribed in song, imagining the world as placed, fixed. You a visitor in a landscape you don't control. I want to know what the eyes smelled at the bottom of the ships. I've seen the look of terror before. Any asshole on the bus pants hanging off his butt, terrorizing a fashion statement on hats and t-shirts. Any black boy, beautiful or ugly, could be of my blood. One meaning of blackness, this arbitrariness of circumstance, knowing it's all possible and nothing's true. Where's the National Museum with the slave ships, whips, neck silencers, irons, chains, mouth bits? If I said the ships, why wouldn't we all immediately have a common reference? Where is the national tongue? The informed language for this thing called slavery. I don't know of anyone who knows the names of their great, 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 great grandfathers. Not the mythic ones or the adopted ones. The exact people who birthed you. I don't know of anyone who knows the faces of their grandmother's rapists. Not any face, the face. I don't know anyone who can sing an old freedom song. Where are the stories of the torture? What did women do with their hair? Where are the seers? What the hell does raw cotton feel like? Bales and bales and generations of it. Page 21. It's just a mental journey. Everyday terror slaps everyday people into niggas on their knees in streets at gunpoint. A sight I'm going to miss. No lie, I will miss the very tongues of downtown Echo Park. Languid laziness of transported folks from Texas, low-riding commodified images through South Central's shifting borders. Maze of summer posturing down Venice Beach boardwalk. Phony poverty chic of Santa Monica. Silver Lake gentrified. Peeping bodies compressed downtown, and all the cafes newly spouted black leather, queer nation politics, urgent homelessness, assault weaponry language, angry children, invisible segregation lines, exhaust fumes, and oh, the pleasure thou when I can look up the street on rare days to see the Hollywood sign, 'cause it's just that clear cut to sound my boots click against gorgeous sidewalks, walking from car door to car door, fade to cool feet up winding down Sunset Boulevard to Ocean Stage direction. See the car that just turned left in front of me that I narrowly missed hitting, 'cause that's what LA is. It means to narrowly miss your fate. And I must begin to say goodbye now. I may never leave. Remember, Akilah had jokes. She had a lot of jokes. She was funny and goofy. And she could curse you out.
Mad funny.
Peace, y'all.
Cross the great divide, she said. The way to the fair is roadblocked. Deciduous trees laugh. Mystery lady feeds me a conditional intimacy. Call. Subvert laws of regret. It was a beautiful concession. The good men fell down dead. Stop. It was a beautiful consent. Juggling clowns skating down Main Street. Carnivals of violence, bleached night air. Firecracker. Let the good times roll. Mock. Re-enter the danger zone. I live here to die there. I live here to survive in the out there. Nobody listens to the believer. Nobody senses the desperation of faith. Everyone does. A body, naked to the open gaze. Flagellate with instruments of chattel slavery. Watch you come to the post-pain ecstatic. Answer the ringing. How come the ghosts well from chained histories? How come we come? Everything permissible. Clearing a mental jungle. Desire. Funny name for inhalation. My need to be held in flesh. Laugh, you little ones. Your time of innocence is almost done. Deliver me to a Jesus believable. Turn the water to wine. Do your tricks for me. Let the good times roll. Latch that gate, child. Shut the house up good. All the bad people waiting to violate the castle. Rub some gentle on the lips chapped, pussy willows. She scratches the night, a beacon of pain or good luck. Oh, don't you want to walk like cool kids, snap in concert, play the game just to play? So honored to catch the dissolution of the 20th century. Tonight we're going to party like it's 1999. I betrayed jealous gods, strained to hear angels sigh, earth runnings, every bit of it a fiction. This is the literal translation. I hurt a common love. My eyes forget to cry. I bleed to see you. I want love to be easy death, predictable, somewhat linear.
She is, excuse me, she is more than fiction. Excuse me, she is more useful than fiction. Divine, you kiss my feet. Miss you. A construction of flesh and spirit. In eyes I don't live. Pray, retrieve a sometime. Go away. I see the road to your face all the time. It's a family affair, said the machine. Who said love is equal? Retrievable against all odds. Who said love is this? Oceans pass across wounds, slipping into imaginative terrain. A lady wants to exit in woman form. Don't tell nobody you were open. The door never to be the same again. Known things escape. The magic is not in the wand. Which image is more beautiful? The one of you there beating yourself, the one of you there sleeping, the one of you kissing the fear of God on lips. I made up in a dream. Now, no, a mutual topic. Fathers parked on Venice Beach, share a memory before parting. If I venture out on the tightrope, jump through a safety net, lie in a known language, there is nothing I want from you. Lie. Desire is not innocent. A fax machine and desire is a bitch, and I do desire you. Pretend away the need. Confuse the emotion. What I want is an obscene unable. What I want is not what I would give. Alchemist searching for a matchbook. Sometimes God takes on a face I'd recognize anywhere. sometimes driven. I believe any fiction you say with fisted hands. A little girl pushes back a tear, a direct object of action. Who could have pretended the result? Mourning on a bed with the dog. Naming it doesn't reveal anything. In a dream, two women kiss in a parking lot. Better the beginning to be the end.
Summon, she said, her by the name you loved. What was I supposed to say? That love is a condition of the imagination. Language makes things false, conditional, and subject to agreement. Take me in like unopposed to mad currents of skin. Kiss the darkness, pussy negotiable property. Language a convenient construct. Please do remember me. Gospel and lost classics of the Negro age. Take me in. Do, Lord, remember me. Remember me. What was I supposed to say? The possibility of your breasts, more enticing, more beautiful than a threat of rain across hard earth. The scribes lost their way somewhere between the native wailing ghosts of New Mexico and South Carolina cotton fields. Or was there sugar cane there? Someone who knows should tell the urban Black kids of Uzi MTV and comic strip breakfasts. Hail the gains of integration and cross the divide of race mythology. Something is always lost when something is gained. Who was prepared to pay the price for memory's transference from the sacred to the profane, from pork chops to McDonald's, working backwards? I suppose to say, the physical suck is never enough. Moons have coalesced to confuse the day. Take a slow train home. This is the long way, descent. Ah, breath, and feel better, you radicals of steel. Draw lines around the stomach that has birthed stretch marks. Reject the smooth Playboy image of femininity. Lick. How come you don't want to sleep with me anymore? This is the way to regret. Don't answer now. Save the reality for a day that can bear the weight. I suppose I could have said, love is a country of need and desire and the base resignation of leashes. My flesh, all flesh, waiting to be materialized in touch. It aches. Who has the money to buy a ticket to the second show? Release me, then rescue me. Charles Brown on AM radio. Merry Christmas, baby. You sure do treat me nice. Sing along. This tradition will name American for convenience. Intimate devils. What to do when the outlaws are all in-laws. The enemies you know by first name. Consent and conquest. Blackness, whiteness, oppositional bayonets. As if you and me embody incomparable mythologies. Go, girl, lick. In imaginative terrain, you kiss my feet. I give you anything. And into this gaze that is not a gaze, I saw nothing I want to name, yet everything I want to claim. I want. Selfish bitch I am, violating all 12-step rules. Enable me and I'll enable you. I say, you. Beautiful in the overused, meaningless ways, not hideous enough to ignore, scratch, wish it all were the way the stories make it seem. Who is parent of the false word? I am, says the true confessor, shackled in memory. Feed the monster. These are beans, and we have some chicken. What says pop culture? I loved you. Through a gaze unholy and unrepentant. See me, the girl I want to be. See me undressed, ribs decorated in skin. Do Lord remember me, reborn. What was I supposed to say? That I loved you is too simple a lie. When I breathe your face and see, I am stunned with sight of you, warrior girl, your wounds I want to cry in and suck blood. Everything pales in comparison. This is the secret of power, corruption so easy. I want to sing a revolutionary song, dress in fatigue, kick ass, lick pussy. Did you say you are not Black? You are not white? Create a theoretical language to situate the emotion. I admit none of this. The exhibitionist just likes to expose her scars.
Pick any Curtis Mayfield song to accompany this. Dance all night, sleep into sun, exhaustion as pedestrian resistance, swagger of denial quite cute, pathetic limp leaves falling off another existence, cartoon street, empty stillborn wish, spasms of self, the margins have always been full, a secret uncommercialized in advertisements, and the taste of a porch sunken in North St. Louis leaves your lips blackened as if a smoker's body were yours, was yours, brick dilapidated structures, safety nets of disposables, cool jerk, angry black man said, quiet black man, thick in eyeglasses said, you want him to shout eulogies at you, you want him to attack your guilt, you want him to shut the fuck up, disappear into a statistic, something to take seriously, understand, brother takes possession of you, though you make him biblical Cain, Somalia is closer than Watts, so let's send the relief mission there, prioritize oppressions, drink your coffee and don't think of the hands that pick the beans, boycott grapes, anti-oppression, a series of hierarchies like oppression, catch time to pray on a crowded bus, keep the faith in face of bloated eyes standing in the rubble that was a Korean-owned liquor store, a particular historical reference, anger can be so arbitrary or loyal. Abundant melanin makes no one holy. Eat watermelon, all the paths to blackness scattered in crystal shards. Somebody dies when the bullet hits. Commercial break. Tell me the way to beauty, Christy Brinkley. Little black girl over there crying in a corner 'cause little black boy said her lips too big. They say in war there's lines clearly drawn. Never believe a man in uniform, Kenya in military greens, a cultural matter. Would you shoot me, oh brother, if my skin were holy? Would you shoot me, oh brother, if my skin were only mask? Would you shoot me, oh sister, if the black myth survived Madison Avenue, our own angers? Would you, oh brother, walk holy with me through trash? Would you, oh sister, if I confessed the family name? All the way to the fair, the innocent child blows little bubbles, little fatalities. Pick up a doll, girl, learn the necessities of survival, braid its hair and caress, call her yourself. Evil is everywhere, etched in minstrel dance. It's all right now, hold that brother's hand. Dance, it's all right now. Think of ways feet cross swamps. Give up the ghosts of easy blackness. I know what the visionaries want. I was willing to buy the motherland myth. I want a way out too.
So this is what you ancients meant by crying time. I have not been good. I have not been bad. Sometimes I haven't been nothing at all. Gray-haired lady, white-haired lady, perfect witch of high pitch, bathe me nice in kitchen sink. General Hospital plays in black and white, tears. All the promises grew up. Be a good lady, hey lady. He ain't never coming back, that blonde-haired Jesus now, is he? If I see death first, I'll tell him to treat you good. If you see him first, tell him to let me hang out with you. Feathery clouds. I put most of the coins in the tin plate for you. The others went for soda pop. Hope you don't mind my minor transgressions, white-haired lady. Where your rifle at now, cataract eyes. I'll try to shoot straight, be unafraid, never to bury half my children, never promise lofty world trips again. Weep. B.B. King and Lucille shudder in overstuffed rooms, picture albums, junk antiques, precious, all of it you, precious in a retrospect too late. Snow at winter's edge. My mama, a big bird, flew away to sun. Come on in now. It's getting on time for supper, y'all. Tablecloth. I want park again, and I want it now. Negroes and nostalgia. I never heard you sing. I never saw you cry. Cackling hens laugh. Spit that snuff straight. I am trying to be as honest as grief will allow. I am trying to be saved. I am trying to sin. I am trying to hush these tears, hush. Somebody's calling my name.
She said, you come to a place where your eyes need to cry. They cry dry riverbeds. How did you break your heart? How did you refuse your spirit a body? She said you where to find her. She hangs like a beaten broom at the I-10 freeway entry with sign pleading, tell your rage hello. Forest moves in December. There were good witches and aphrodisiac trees. They said, I won't let you go. I kneeled a Catholic girl's submission. I said, I want the way to myself.
Is you is or is you ain't. Nobody's home in my body. Morning come hurriedly here. Zoom past the vehicles. Menstrual blood turns some boys on. Groom the poodle. Guess I forgot to turn the denial faucets off last night. Wicked highway beating time. Over emptied of pleasure. Crass flowers, miniature men, painted in combat green, line them up to watch them die. Order is what I like. All the files labeled. The desire for one more round. Roar down street like the other tourists. Say prayers, then go home. Somalians in bloated stomach costumes wrecking my Pan-African day. Happy is the password. Stretch out on the underside of a void. Clean dream. Thank God somebody's keeping time. All the girls started on their way, little ones and big ones and white and pink knee socks, preen in the mirror and silence my lips, pop, fly away home. Ed Sullivan introduces Diana Ross and the Supremes, done to the tune of Deceit. How can you love me like that? Put those flaws on the table. She said, baby girl, you got it. She said, gin, shoeboxes full of dope. By the way, off went the big dick, exploding for small change. Give me this daily bread. I wants to eat, so I lied again. It's only between me and you, right? What does it matter? I'm going to Amsterdam with my wig screwed on tight. All my friends gonna sing background. Off and 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 off. Click. Wait for that moment of recognition. Staple the pages shut. Strokes of midnight walk tensely by. Go back to start. Look surprised at the trickery again. Such faith keeps me going. God loves us, don't you know, child? Comfort. I could have sworn it was her on the street. It was her on my page. It was her true form stretched across my bed, her left breast on my lip, nipple, reddish brown, galaxies, skipping over my stretch marks. Dreams, they got me. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Under the bedspread, those smells, maybe nobody will notice. All the children have that little white lamb to follow them to school. Lumber past construction workers perched, gypsy in their souls. They'll learn to masturbate, to be better persons, redeem their food stamps for discount meat. Yelp goes the dog kicked. This is a paid holiday. Assemble. Now swallow those bitter pills like good girls and boys. Kinky goes the future. Sit bare-assed on the sun. Get those labia and penis pierces now. Pain's the way for you to go. Forgive your mothers all their dissuaded fantasies and burnt aspirations. Put the erect nipple between your teeth. Bite hard and the screams turn sultry. Smile, little ladies, little gents. Big Daddy loves you, sure enough. It's not your decomposed bodies strung up in effigy. You're all going to Disneyland. Thank you, Akilah.
Happy birthday, Akilah. So where do you want to enter a memory? Then in the personal world, myths were grudges, a fairy tale I invent, swallow the discontent, eat a new form of all the divine, dent fate's narrow corridor, ghosts drip semen from vinyl seat impalas, cool music on radio, mellow dirty nails, the touch, fingers on flesh of the baby in the tub, in the sink, in the house once new, now falling mercilessly upon itself. Regurgitated snuff crashes into her tin can. Martha and the Vandellas sing harmony in background. Poof, who said it was never there? Go away. Anyway, I need to fuck myself in such a way that the moans eat me alive. No witnesses, church hats, round boxes stuffed in closets. My mother told me I was a girl. I wanted to call her God, but the timing never seemed right. Falling to mortality all the time. Grievers need a black gal's moody red. Now, all rise. In the marketplace of dreams, Isis found Osiris's penis fragmented. I want a myth that would not explain something. To enter the church doors on my knees. I want Jesus to fill me up, want the Holy Ghost to shout in tongues, want to fuck in the pulpit. I want you to look at my scars and be healed. Contemporary martyrdom. Statues of Lenin line streets of a melted iron curtain, uprooted dogma. Uprooted dogma, uprooted dogma, uprooted dogma. Give me a simpler slogan. All the ideologies have faded into dusty corners, musty, hardbound editions of unread books line shelves. Marlena Shaw sang it sweet, waiting to be born. I won't doubt myself against the image of the Madonna. We share the same secret of blood and blood and blood, the holy, the God, the woman vaginal fluids, the need to suckle breast, the clutching vulva, the inner lips, screams as heads of baby ghosts push out, the mystery of flesh. There's another little tetherball queen, girl muscles on an asphalt smooth playing field. Step on a crack, your mama real black. This is not where I thought we were going to go when we got on the train. All the seats were taken. We caught a phoenix fleeing the burning Kuwaiti oil fields, which rode us all the way to Kansas City. I saw 1948 in monochrome and all the ears were full with jazz. Men danced their hats at cool angles, shoes, two-tone Stacey Adams, primal kitchens, and the myth of Black culture went unrecognized in everyday realms. In some small space of my everyday body where I live, with all the genetic ghosts and other intruders embedded in my spine.
Lover, she says, dare you hold my sorrow? Rain streaks blood down river, gushing teenagers in love carpool through. Your eyes go away from me, simple pleasures, breasts to breasts. I thought danger would be more dangerous. I thought my thoughts could summon a wish into being. Roller coasters spiraling off track, city, this one, a creation in disassembly. Smash the mirrors and turn off the light. She journeyed into Blood River for me. Would you? Lover, dare you hold my psychic twists? What name is that I answer to? Credible lies, generous is the hand that pats the infant master's head. How do I recognize you in crowded pastels? Click, whisper it, like you mean it. Sincere as first kiss, I come to laughter willingly. Say amen, double clap, let the organ moan, hide, patrollers bark in little Gestapo boots at the door. Your therapist or my pot? Why choose crutches? Surely we can have them all. Next world, don't you see? Something gracious is happening here. I've seen people dunked in holy water to come up the same. Angels took me over cliff, spectacular fall. Clearly earth is a bed of roses. Stick a tongue into the thorns.
She says, where in the world are all the acid plain poplar trees? The willow like a lady, beautiful and stupid in her distress, weeping on a pillow, the redwoods singing grace at dawn. The weed stumped growth in a patch between here and there, and the neighborhood falls asleep to the lull of a redundant pop, 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 tat, tat, tat. Daffodils shifting. Earth's axis, cool spearmint freelancing in suspended gratitudes to a God who looks like any woman's sister keeper look. I would keep her away from Payne's blank stare. She says the bar is dirty and the big boys and girls have gone to another time zone. She says, shame. She says on a good night, you can hear incoming fantasies hijacked aboard the Concorde. She says, we are the ones our mothers warned us about. Ain't it nice to be noticed? She said, butt in your pants. She says, who's got money for another drink? She said, the love is too much in absence. She says, sit yourself down and tell me secrets, if you please. She says, pass the hot sauce. She says, the world is my friend. She says, pull the covers tighter around me. She says, we are the ones we've been waiting for. She says, sit right down and talk to me. I cannot move. Thank you for the beer. Simple language. Girl, woman out of bounds, nappy, night sweats, caressing sheets, sweet. Cyclonic cross-references, spinning lullabies, lovely as lingering watermelon juice, sitting pretty on the soul's terrain. Somebody scat. Twist like you did last night. Jump the broom and bring it all back home. Turn on the heat. Simple language. The delicate eyelashes sweep through clouds. Free me up. The party's been fun, and I want to go home. The world's been kind to me, and I want to go home. The niggas on my block treat me nice, and I want to go home. The good hosts are gracious as they can be, and I want to go home. The food is cooked to taste spicy, and I want to go home. The mood gorgeous, nostalgic, sepia, and I want to go home. The black hot hats look nice on the heads, and the shoes match the purses. Fashion slick announcements of credibility, and I want to go home. The walk is nice through the foreign lands, and the words are Sphinx mysteries to entice tongue. And I want to go home. And I want to.
Saturday, she says. Rush hour. It rained the day I drove away. First in weeks, months maybe. Bye-bye, girls. It's time to put the tape in the car radio and ride. Boom into quiet. Gravel and time crunch under wheels. Don't stop, keep going. The future is still the future and promise seems sweet. LA, a slick piece of burnt toast, soggy in the rain. And if the sun is shining while it's raining, then the devil is beating his wife. That's what this girl said on the playground one day ago. I was little and playing. It happened. The devil started beating his wife. I wondered if she was beautiful and what he looked like. I said, I bet she was the sun. Echo Park. You're a studio apartment overtaken by weighty desk and Pullman bed, lumpy mattress, and no pillows for sleeping on, because you said your mother said pillows throw your head out of alignment with your body. You giggle when you come. Then like that, everything makes sense. The water, catching, it's breathe, the droning lawnmower, the cars going by, the singer, the song, the rush, and nothingness of the days.
She said, meditate on rage. I am falling. I am falling. I fall into the crawl spaces of the androgynous witches who scream bedtime lullabies at my bruised teeth. I am going. I am going. I am going into the coven of lesser stars where the pain cannot find me. And there is nothing romantic about death there. I said hello, but the jackal spirit screamed back in scorn that I don't know its name. I don't know its name. So why masquerade a modest empathy devoid of a real object? Oh, how does this rage find me? I try so hard to disappear into the happy. Where do the lucky ones live? I want to eat at their table. I am dancing. I am dancing. I dance off the edge of the girl woman who dresses in my ashy skin. I sing. I am singing. I am singing goodbye. Who said that for every ending there's a beginning? I like that lie. I said, love me, please, could you do that for me, baby, just for tonight? Like some sacred radio song, we could snuggle up together and kiss and shit and whisper things in one another's ears that we will never forgive ourselves for believing, and our skins will float naked and shaved and imperfect and orgasmic, and baby, huh? Baby, huh? Could you do that for me? Could you do that with me? Could you do that to me just for one night? I am inventing. I am inventing. I am inventing a woman who I can let live in beauty inside of me. I am forsaking. I forsake myself. The scarred, scared bitch who answers to my name is just too hard to bear.
Speak in the two voices. Execute the cruelty beautifully, you, womb to the life zone, go girl, or release, no passive voices here, golden hair, distress, pop, in the sadist dance, I release you, I love you, my mother is a good, cut the exterior ego into dust, into woman, bitch, bow, bitch, what? Apple slices into exquisite blood. Does power respect, but power unavailable in emergency room? What does power need to destroy? We aren't angels. I saw the angel, but the mirror of power. This is, there in your bed. We aren't. Bullshit. How we wish. This is goddess. I saw the goddess there. Memorable performance. There, in the bathroom stall, and the golden is the stage. Directions maimed in flush of your eyes. These realities, my eyes, there's the program to speak in duality, split the skull, hand to the audience, crying on, open, I need to see the residual, a phone machine, I love life, let's cartoon, the road runner, incredible, die now, it might never again be, death defire in black and white, such a gorgeously hard time to, can you make me cry? Try, can't live, slave, I've been easily before. You expose the fear of my truth, your pussy, a confession booth, and here's my thumb, stick in the knife, which I can kiss, goddess, and an expert surgeon can cut to the demons and unequal and death zone, then sew back up the unquestionable devotion, voluntary slavery, who's got the, no one's getting out now, the power, the good slave or the bad machine is always on call when master or the good master or the you can, I have ice for the bruise, bad slave, I know where you, may I use your bathroom, I hear, want to go, I know what you want, the brave revolutionaries are, I love your fears, I love your power, are you precious in sleep, awakening to the unknown dreams, my sweet baby, breathe all over again, my lips are so parched, don't dare kiss them, they cut the sky's sanity into little blue candles to burn into the night's black, black cats and black unborn and black magic and black delight, go now, you are released, where in the planetary evolution should I meet you to embark
on the next chapter of the Her and Her story. No one's getting out now. The machine is always on. Call when you can. I have ice for the bruise. May I use your bathroom? May I use your bathroom? I hear the brave revolutionaries are preparing another coup to save the world again. I'm so tired of war. Girls just want to have fun.
Tell me a story, she says. Into the inner reaches of the vulva fantasies. Go there now, into what is liquid and solid and holds all truth. My goddess waits for me in a debrised alley. Little goddess of sanity, I like to see your ass exposed to sun. In this alley strewn with streamers of lost parades and Cadillac hubcaps and eunuchs' bodies and such shit, I don't go there to meet her. I send my illusion self instead. Her knees visible in the torn jeans. My illusion floats down to her. My lips, her lips kiss. She entices with her red smear. Even now you can see her laughing in lipstick advertisements. I kneel before her supplicant and unafraid of consequence. My tongue licking haints and ghosts from her snake hair. It is so dark in here, Daddy. When I kneel before her, the severed penis falls from my back pocket. It is so much light in here, Daddy. I hear the voice of my sister muffled under the bedspread. I dream that a contingent of white doves are coming from the castle to save me. A gift of angels is on its way to climb through the barred windows to name me. And all the little hopscotch queens are armed on playgrounds to protect me. Please. Please, says the little girl wrapped in her patent leather shoe protection. Please love me. Please, says the big man. It is so dark in here and the house is haunted and Cannonball Adderley and Mr. Miles Davis are reaching for holiness on the reel-to-reel tape. Please, says the big man tied up in fishnet stockings as a steel cross brands his chest. Please, says the big man tied to the corporate marble table as his tongue is sliced out. Please, says the penis warped in the girl's mouth. Please, touch me. My goddess kneels on the alley floor with me. Her bare knees suck in the broken bottle glass. Why do you bleed for me, I ask? She laughs and golden streams leak from her mouth. I don't bleed for you, she says. I bleed for me, for you to witness. And I think I hear my sister's muffled screams emerging from the bedspreads. And I think the world is giving out lollipops to all the good girls. And I think I hear her sighing, ah. She pulls my pants down. Her tongue goes into the black pink of my inner lips. Why do you cry, little one? I am so afraid, Daddy. Soldiers are at the front gates pointing their guns. Priests ask for confession. The mother has hidden her face behind makeup. How come they won't teach the baby to walk? Sweet goddess holds the baby in mortal form. We pass air between the space of our lips, her fingers rubbing my clitoris into erection. Tell me a story of once upon a time a queen loved a whore and a saint kissed the devil and silk sheets lined the earth's roughness and a woman danced her tongue over my tears. Tell me, Daddy. I am so little, but the mystery is so big. My legs are scorched joints keeping time to the good music. Where are your gods now, my goddess? And I laugh as we stick the knife into the big man's groin. Where is your power now, we moan as her fingers file polyrhythms in and out of my pussy. Make believe. When I grow up, I'm going to be an assassin, Daddy. When I grow up, I'm going to be a healer, Daddy. When I grow up, I'm going to remake a lie, Daddy. When I grow up, I'm going to become a bird, Daddy. When I grow up, I'm going to bleed. When I grow up, I'm going to kneel in a forgotten alley with a goddess and harps and flutes and electric guitars and belts and whips and burning logs and frozen nipples and severed peens and trolls and tricksters and ghosts are going to make a party. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, won't you come and play with me? Sanctified suck of redemption, I kiss her breast milk sweet as fetus innocence. You can bite me, she says. I am a goddess and all pain is transparent. I rub my hands on her ass. You can spank it, she says. I am goddess and all pain is redemption. I lick my tongue across the shadows of her face. You can cut it, she says. I am goddess and every slice aids in my transformation into all things beautiful. I hand her the severed penis. Why don't they teach the baby to walk? Her knees are swollen menses. She crawls, crawl, little one. Learn to love in supplication, my goddess says to me. I see her, my mirror self. She holds the severed penis in her mouth. I am lightness and air and the weight of 1,000 feathers lying across her naked back. Glitter, blood of our broken knees mark our path. Penis between her teeth leaks succulent petals of stolen flowers falling and merging into the blood. She bites. I am on her back. My pussy is swollen after birth, rubbing against my goddess's bare ass, mine exposed, beautiful and petulant to sun, stigmatas adorn our hands. My goddess raises her hands to my face. I lick off the blood. Are you ready, she whispers, up toward the blind. Buildings below stacked play form in a child's design. Climbing up, we squeeze tightly into each other. The goddess, I open our mouth, allowing the penis to disintegrate into fragments of its power. The goddess, I call out to the little girl in an attic in a house whose clitoris is shackled to a man's penis in a town, in a time nameless. Don't cry, little one, the goddess, I say. Bite.
Come to me when you can't speak, she said. You remember the cataclysmic night for what it is, what it was. How do I appreciate the gift you gave for winter? It bites my shoulder in crack pipe denouement. We went into the field of sky virgin mistresses. We went into the winter in skins of distress and rebirthed placenta. Place your lips here on this wound. I am so afraid. This is a truth that speaks its sister's name. Why do I know her as I know myself? We went into winter. How do I thank you for the warmth placed behind your left earlobe? You invited me to taste prophetic cancers. I am your witness. I don't give up the voice of sight, though it chokes in an anger so common, even I am ashamed to recognize it as my own. What do I want? So many more winters. What do I want? So many more winters. What do I want? So many more winters. What do I want? You and so many more winters, as if the gift were not enough. This day is upon me in darkness. I weigh a burden of recrimination, full wrapped in supplication. There was star, a mountain, a laughter, a woman, a tattoo. There is no way to anoint the mystery within this memory. She gave me the gift of winter, and spring left me so unfinished, a bastard child clinging to window ledge. How do you say thank you, naked and shivering in the lost time? I recognize you. I recognize you. You held me over the ice. I held you near magic acid trees under some clear, cold stars.
She said again, I'm not jealous, just afraid of losing. Never seemed to beat anyone to the punch. My good girl. Hide behind the telephone ring. Water passes down a narrow opening in the cliff, falling to its birth 500 feet down. Shipwrecked on a city street, I see what I cannot say. Be afraid. Look over someone's shoulder for the answer. Dear Abby, what should I do to apologize? If there were words, I would say sorry, but we fled language. Our bodies dangle in the absent space. Talk to silence. It answers in tongues even a retired Christian could decipher. When the going gets rough, I'm going to hold my child and rock. I wanted carrot juice, but things just don't seem to come up daisies. Twist. Let me in on the joke. Look, my mouth can laugh. What is a sensible murder? Wrong answer. Say your prayers aloud. Make sure God hears you. I know which boundary I've blundered. Your love is your own and not mine. If we were older, we would have played the game right. We are so young, we don't even know how to tie up the frayed edges of this rope. I want to beg forgiveness, but I heard only men do that. Girlfriends just retire to separate rooms to sew patches on the holes.
The grass is always greener, she said. In this season of dreams, trees bend to kiss my ear. I come into winter virginal and unafraid of cold. Suicide's a faraway tale, shored against an ocean I love. Welcome to 1993. I hear everyone's dysfunctional. I hear they're the best they can be, stand in line. Gorgeous, repressed bellies pull tight on a string. Sip. Which way is the 5 and dime? Gorgeous. Generous is your hand, the one that extends the tobacco for free. Feed me another promise. Do you think they'll come to the party? Balance carefully on the slippery banks of forever, where that's at. A storefront pretending to be East 14th in a time of better revolutionary assumptions. Say, who dat? Who love me? In this season of dreams, I walk into an alley on the good side of the street. A man pushed her head through a plate glass window. Think good thoughts now, and good shall come to you. I think I left my patience at the express line, but I really don't remember. Are you making up another story? The prim teacher bends down to the little child, forced to silence.
She said, own it. Find me here in the oversized room where the bad girls go to kneel. Look into another mirror for answers. Too tired to know what I know. Confess on another day, Sunday. They'll come again with the assurance the arrogant devise as some sort of destiny. A town waits for me to arrive. Dream a comfortable fiction. I'm with you all the way. Two women in a dance of connective tissue, we are. I walked once through dangerous skyscraper tonguing the moon, slow drag of feet, search for a resting place. There was a song, but the words escape me now. Like all good movies, the ending came out good. The heroine died. I don't remember my lines. Say this to the body, curled alone under the pile of blankets. Winds claw at inadequate window panes. Say that. You say this to say what? Just don't say what I can't believe. Boogie. I didn't know where I was going, but I was sure when I arrived that it was the right place. 7 years this walk through the angers. Home. A pillow lies beneath my eyes, catching the wet doubts so sweet.
She said, don't give up. Pleasure to be here, earthling, in this time of seductive tears, staining the ground of our planet. So much work to be done now. Children demystifying broken homes. A new road traveled so many centuries before. Lovely the snow stuck to that mountain beyond the suburban roof. Eat. The complexity is not so much that someone is starving at the instant we come into joy, but that we can come into joy while someone is starving. Can my pleasure feed someone's empty, protruding belly? How did that mystic turn the water to wine, turn the words to bread, turn the bread to spirit? It is the revolutionary imperative of this age to be alchemist, to play God in a script rewritten and divulged of unelected leaders. The bad men are knocking on the front door. We can't ignore them while we wait to collect on our historicized rape. Palestinians are not getting all their land back. Native American Indians are not getting North America. Colorado won't be New Spain again. Forget the 40 acres and a mule. Paraphrase. Jones turned Baraka was right when as Jones he said he is like any other sad man here. American. The Queen is dead. The British royal family a tabloid anachronism. Power won't yield to idealism. Quest for beauty. We know that now. We know their guns are bigger than ours. We have the same old dumb shit voodoo we've always had. Faith sung in work lines. I believe in the dumb shit voodoo. I believe that faith will carry us through. I believe the earth loves to live. I believe that Oprah will marry Stedman and live happily ever after. I believe that the ability to live in faith is the backbone against repression, that resistance is worth more than collection on the debt owed. I believe that the forces of good will kiss evil on lips. It is simple moments like this that gives me the strength to stand in the unemployment line with dignity, bear the offhand bark of a chained pet, plot everyday subversive acts against the death state, to know that planting collard greens matters, that words are not frivolous, and freedom is more than just some people talking.
Can you hear me? Yes. Trestles of hair, she said. Then there was a girl who fell in love with a girl and said, "This is a love that can speak its name." One girl said, "We will tell them when we ask for a definition of relationship that I am your white slave bitch." And the other girl, she laughed. She felt it was an appropriation. We want a world that strains our base desires. Multitudes chorus, clap. We want a world that transcends the wailing, shackled ghosts, realist depression, and apple pie. How do you feel what they say is not permissible to feel? Wicked ladies and wild men and good cultural workers doing this stuff of transformation at the deli counter, ordering tuna on rye, death and rebirth, natural matrix of mortality, where that God be at. Come to me now, on a cross of extended clitory, budding in want of suck. I'm not bad. The little girl has on a white t-shirt. She sits in the Polaroid picture frame, innocent as any make-believe. Write this down, or the past may forget its part in the current. Draw the line somewhere, says a smart woman from the TV screen. In the car, the girl, into the girl thing, said, behind her eyes in a language unnecessary to voice. She said she wanted to eat your breasts now. She wanted to suck your lips now. She wanted to fuck you for redemption and scream into the vortex of breathless space where thighs shudder.
Stay with me a moment. There's a dream I forgot to tell, a dream I forgot to forget. What is it in remembrance that shrieks me awake? The night alone in its shell, sitting there, wide-eyed as the woman who is the girl who traveled into a valley. Old black women, church hats weird as Velveeta cheese, perched on straightened hair home done. I know their eyes without looking. I know their voices and the crack of their bones and the feet that carried the day's weight in their stockings and sensible shoes. Stay here for a moment and pretend the urgency of their lives is bound to ours. Prayers, they say, from lips perched in royal resistance, Afro delight. They say from blackened lips that we are child, that we are child in a continuum of a blackness that recognizes us in rebirth and despair. They say, child, sit down, rest for a while. They say, child, who your people be, what your people's name, is you somebody's child? In the valley of these souls, song. Have you heard that song? Broken like the fairy tale house the little pig stood in against the big bad wolf. Eat. Sweet potatoes glazed over. Eat. Salt the food right. There is some trick to standing in the valley unharmed, to singing the song broken into asphalt under the green go light invented by one who we call our own. I can't tell you their fears, the one who knew the song. I could tell you of their hands, the calluses, smooth, hard leathered harnesses, pulling centuries of field workers, nappy heads, knock-kneed, ashy legs into the blinding vortex of a North Star. Somebody done told them it would light their way. I could tell you about faith. I could tell you about girdles and clasped hands. I could tell you about the heavy iron of the hot comb molded into the fabric of these black calloused hands. I could tell you of seared ears. I might simper out him, but I couldn't tell you of their fear. In the valley, fear is a fool's defense. Fear is a boat. Fear is a choice. I could tell you something of how they chose to live against fear, how the kitchen smells graced their eloquent lips that would elicit a laugh, deep, pungent Vaseline-oiled hands that leaned into your face cupped like a flower, a kiss on the plaited braids, an unassuming intentional act taken for granted. I could tell you of the valley, how it looks. Stay with me longer here. This dreamscape is not forbidden. This dream calls to be spoken. I could tell you of purples and yellows, knots and braids. I could tell you that the valley is wide and long, but I am not really telling you the mystery. I could tell you of the floating world. I could tell you of these practitioners of the floating world. I could tell you how the people learn to fly. When I walk through the valley, I shall fear no one. I could sing that. I could tell you of the goings and comings, of train rides north, of little girls in their best dresses in 1964, eating chicken on a passenger train, delivering them to grandmother's house. I could tell you that it is a sister to holiness, this faith, Take my hand, lead me on.
She said, sometimes love's rage will just eat you alive, won't it? Once I was tricked by a crystal's bright glare like it was valuable self-reconstruction, a way to find some peace in the forest of self-induced weakness. The imposter said she was a friend of the darkness. The imposter said lots of things no one cared to repeat. I don't know how to sit in this shame more regally than the demented shadow of her will allow. How to make the bitter aftertaste leave me. What is this bitch of fear riding the waves around my chest? What is this? A tear, sweet vagina juices gallop down my cheek, a savior that won't say its name. This is not what I wanted to hurt, a displacement evading definitions. Mock a rude, soft consonant, try to form the words that would say home and cats, come out screeching in the streets with claws drawn. Smashed apricots rot on an abandoned sidewalk. The rapist semen pushes into chaotic basements where dead girls lie. Corpses waiting for some undertaker to name their true form. Bring on the death hearse if you dare. Like I'm too proud to take my seat. I can open my own doors too. Did you ever cast a shadow on the sun, cry because all the light was gone? Did you ever betray a dream, worse, the dream maker? Did you ever sock yourself with all your strength and didn't feel it? I thought the apple was some other vegetable. I don't know the ways of love. I don't know what love is. I came to the fair to play. I didn't know I'd be thrown from the roller coaster. I forgot what it feels like to fall. Is this some outstanding debt I forgot about? Is this how the arrogant die? Sitting straight up in a bed of choice, all the channels clicked to off, the scent of someone you dared call lover, still fragrant in pillow sheets. One lone bird sings beyond the sliding doors, grief clogging the sinuses, the kick-ass girl bound and tied into silence, the mother, a failed bitch again.
Cross the line, she said. Don't enter here. Don't come in here, this place where the hard wound of hate eats. You are not welcome into this pain you've brought. Fine wounded bitch hardened beside curbside rain puddle. Give another gift, please. Print this image on glossy, slick magazine paper. I am not without fault. I love too hard. Beautiful singer man, he said. His friends sometimes say, but I believe. I believe that a woman should be. Is this the rage you meant to find behind curtain number 1? The sorceress sleeps. Light the match. Who burns first? Freaks on knees, on floor, on bathroom, hard on ass, orifice on lips, on sleeping sickness, on pop, 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 pop. Die, beautiful one, like children. Falling a swing empty in the false park. Push me, they cry, little ghosts.
You're on mute.
Okay. In the morning, your face, a garland for me. The way your eyes drape the shadowed morning, a beat, a slip, a suck, a flesh memory. Bodies of 2 women emerged in the unfolding of a mystery. This one, skins contrast, laugh in a recreated space of blacks and whites. Psychedelic freak out, sacred pussy water, tasted sweet. Collective solo incantations scream, cajoles nigger gods, Nubian goddesses. 2-tone cadences grind a slow dance into magic. See how your fingers are alchemists? I was mortal and earthbound redundancy. Your touch says it. Fly here. Your lips on mine. They say this magic place is fragrant and popsicle tears. You can cry into my flesh. The pain won't hurt. Then your eyes, they said, come, look, precious one. You float before the golden gods and stolen rafts of tears. How the sun worships the lovely ones who goes into the frozen river alone to search the ice for friends. It is the time of a new letting go. I can't bow before the end of the world arrives. Set the table. Gandhis and kings and crackheads are coming by. My mother wants the stolen jewels of her life back. Pawned in her overly made up eyes. I want to love you, but the words keep getting in the way. I want to place myself in a shrine as offering. She said, Heather, you run your hand through this forest. Black pubic hair, penetrate the fears. Tickle tongue over generations of stubborn women, ecstatic surrender. It's time to play. Take me to the place where you go when there is no separation between the whip and the lick. Commodified postcards, lotus afloat in ponds of fragrant. I am a beggar on the path, dressed in fine threads. I bend over to receive the power you still so fine. Your shoplifted hands say your hidden name. Release the shame housed in your pussy. Turn up the lights. This is not the time for darkness to obscure your face. A mask violet in trumpet hues.
Of the lover makes her who she is. For Cynthia Davis. The sky behaved like a showgirl. Did I make a mistake?
Lou, we can't hear you that well.
Just a little louder.
I'm sorry. The absence of the lover makes her who she is. For Cynthia Davis. The sky behaved like a showgirl. From Paradise, Toni Morrison. 1. She came to greet me, earth-filled, with tall tales of black-eyed peas and pig ear sandwiches. She came with shining pots, shrimp, pasta. She say, what you call it? Then kiss me with lips of Carmex chapstick. She said, loved. She say, unlessened. She say this, then that. Then she kissed me on my forehead right above the bicycle scar.
2. Contours of light and shadowed cheekbones rise like mist on morning light, accentuating pillow cover. Smell of papaya sleeps in drain, where there's been no tropical illusions in this kitchen for over a year. Window blinds drawn against alien creeped traffic outside. Inside, a private site of dream. Her cheekbones, risen northern star guiding hidden impulse, vulvar light. Black dust, powder licks nipples. I once hallucinated her in an imagined version of love. Luminous scar rides the left side of her stomach up to the rib cage of her. I kiss. She sleeps in the shape of Texas. A mirror shows her body back to me. Black hair, black eyes, black pubic hair. Skin the color of a smooth brown cashmere sweater I could have worn when I was younger, window shopping in the rain in Brooklyn.
3. Window shopping in the rain once in Brooklyn. Folsom Street offered me a discount emotion. Folsom Street, a dehydrated assault of psyches, pedestrian refractions, shadow retail window panes, passing, preening, pause. What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it? I learned to say boombox and pointed at one in cramped electronics stores, a longing for love.
4. Consider touch the closest thing we have to manifesting the divine. Flesh as terrain, as in the beginning, there was matter so supple it melted the mind's body. Love as a practiced, particular thing, less imagined than pronounced, consciously constructed. Peppermint lipstick flavor on a slight moon mouth.
5. Declawed tiger voice slipping. Slips. When you coming this way again, girl? I confuse the leading with the dreaming. Stalled in a theory of want. Me, a subject of my woman who is out of reach. I dream myself the subject of her out of reach. What do you show when you called upon to show yourself, loved one? A weeping willow stands in a bed of lime green Kool-Aid, her dancing dark eyebrows. My woman is out of reach. What is that you want, child? Her? And more than what my limited imagination can conjure up, daintiness in ways it is sometimes disguised, coarse Negro fingertips drifting over a bowl of scented water, rose or sage medicinal, lace in a flutter of wind gently down the broad hips of a blue-black big woman dressed all in white. On her waits the fair, perhaps, my woman, perhaps, walking away from our lazy, big, old front porch.
The last 2 poems, Lovers 1 and 2. What the body remembers. It was not that complicated, the history, divisions, cut-ups, intrigues. A tattoo on the upper right flank where the skin bears witness, a rose. Emblazoned there, a lost lover's shadow, an old script, dilapidated desire, what becomes fact, a factual encoding, a Tusco's negotiated outcome. More difficult, what was that song she used to lisp? It sounded raw silk. Michael rowed the boat ashore. How the whip carted the flesh, his dowry, a truckload of straightening combs and transitive verbs. Skin cancer is very, very rare in the African-American community. Therefore, it's hard to remember. The sun. Come on over here and kiss me, baby. She wanted to show how place traps consciousness, how men write histories. I thought she would look nice dressed in her father's battered face. The Kenyan coffee in the cup stained the African colonial map. I spilled. How come you don't never buy me nothing I could pawn? She acted like it hurt. At the moment it happened, I didn't mean it. When it was over, she wanted to talk. I don't remember the Royal Dutch Trading Company. Yes, she insisted. Yes, you do. Michael rowed the boat ashore. Come over here to the green futon. Sit on my lap. They came in droves. I don't remember. Come over here. It was before the new millennium, she said. Don't you remember? They sang Hallelujah. I dreamed you took me to Jamaica. We slept on sand. Your dead cousin hustled us in Montego Bay. We paid him store-bought cowrie shells to take us to Ethiopia, Haile Selassie's shrine. My ear wouldn't stop bleeding. Your dead cousin said they have a word for this kind of female insurgency. Your politics slipped from my labia on the boat ride across the bay. You thieved your mouth away when you saw him looking, as if seared, as if suddenly filling the text. You seemed ashamed of what he saw. They have a banishment for lesbian in our language, he said. I don't remember. He wouldn't remember to tell us. You thought we spoke English. You said, I thought we were speaking English. For $50 American, he would serve as both American tourist ladies. You insisted we talk about algae or 18th century insurgency in the outlawed hills of Acampan. Your dead cousin insisted on cash. At the moment of inquiry, you could not recall my name. No, not lover. They have another marker for it, a subjective reading, duplicitous experience. That was a duplicitous experience, you said, and we got off. And the last piece is called Lover 2 that I'll read tonight. No, not that part. The part that made sense, like when your mother called you the tramp. Yes, that part. The other childhood. Yes, that one. She was a poet then. She said something like, come into the night of mindless chambers, see the disordered beauty prancing in straight lines. That was before the collard greens finished cooking. Sympathetic. We were going on a drive through the country. Orange groves, they leaned into the car window. You thought there was a scarecrow. We weren't in Massachusetts. You must have disremembered. Yes, that's it. I have disremembered. The laughter caught in sunrise's humidity. We must have been someplace other than here. By the fence, the little boy said, when the devil tries to make me do things I don't want to, I just say no. That's for my son, Alucci. I didn't have that childhood. I was always a bird with a long blue tail, pecking unripened green apples on the highest branch. That's what you said on the drive. My lips weren't kissing yours. The lipstick smears, you said, smears the lips outline, like an out-of-tune violin. If that's all you wanted, you should have said so. That was all I wanted. A few words, maybe. Some souvenir to put on the mantle for later, like when all this is over. What you experience is your valid reality. You said pretentious. I was too pretentious to be included. For some reason, you made this a personal scene, not the distance required of nonfiction, like when your mother sang you a nursery rhyme, Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you... I thought your teeth were edible. Hello, hello, I echoed against you. You simply the best. That's what I meant to say. We drove to Nantucket. That made you laugh. We saw Jane run. Mittens. They lived in a different storybook. They lived in a different storybook. I disremember. It was the blue shirt with the bleach marks on it. In the closet in Kentucky, I kissed it. You wore it to the pool table. You've never been to Kentucky. That's what you said. I used to think it cute the way you invent, but it bores me now. That's what I would have said. 4 ounces of olive oil plus oil of rosemary and 5 drops of lemongrass. My mother washed my hair in the kitchen sink. You told me that while waiting for the bee bus to Boulder. This is the part where my hand grabs your throat. Voice box rumbles through California. Be more exact, that's what you said. You pretty. Dorothy Dandridge ankles and Esther Phillips skin, they lived in ebony. On the coffee table, that's where your mother left them out for company that never came. The sofa wasn't green. We were on our way to a party on Divisadero Street. My mother died giving birth to me. You said it without any emphasis. I believe it was Vienna. We bathed breasts together in a porcelain tub. My mother took me to Disneyland on my 5th birthday. I loved you the way you said it with certainty. Yes, when I was 5. Thank you. Keep writing, everybody. Love you.
Akilah walked time and space. Akilah stretched every label there is. Akilah changed every room she entered. Akilah chased the ecstatic rapture. Akilah seized her desires, seized life. Akilah's literary and performance work is brilliant, timeless. Akilah is brilliant, timeless. Those are just some of the things that come to mind when we think about our dear sister and friend Akilah Oliver, some of the things that gathered us together to bring the She Said dialogues, flesh memory back into print. Akilah, 1961 to 2011, was born in St. Louis and grew up in Los Angeles. In 1994, she co-founded the experimental performance collective Sacred Naked Nature Girls, whose multiracial participants explored what Akilah called flesh memory, uncontainable, transhistorical, trans-spiritual memories and trauma and desires activated in and through the body and its languages. Flesh memory returns in her stunning first book of poetry, the She Said Dialogues, Flesh Memory, which was published in 1999 by Anne Waldman's Smoke-Proof Press, Erudite Fangs Editions, and received a Pen Beyond Margins Award, and which appears here, reprinted. Akilah's work with flesh memory continues in her second book of poetry, A Toast in the House of Friends, Coffee House 2009. Thanks, Rachel, for news that it's back in print. Get more copies. This searing book embodies the aporia of Akilah's far too many grief experiences, particularly the death of her son, Oluchi Donald, in 2003. After this tragedy, Akilah started the Links Community Network to fight for universal health care in honor of Oluchi, who was an accomplished graffiti artist and whose graffiti tag was Links. A Toast includes an essay on graffiti art and several poems that are scores which Akilah performed with various musicians and artists. Akilah also published several chapbooks, including An Arriving Guard of Angels, Thusly Coming to Greet, The Putter's Notebook. Sorry, I should say all the press, shouldn't I? Give everybody good credit. An Arriving Guard of Angels, Thusly Coming to Greet from Farfalla Press in 2004. The Putter's Notebook, Belladonna Books, 2006. A August Portable Press at Yo-Yo Labs, 2007. And Eclectic Objects from 2010. Akilah lived for many years in Boulder, Colorado, where she taught at the Naropa Institute's Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics. She also taught at Pratt Institute and the New School in New York City. She was a member of the Belladonna Feminist Avant-Garde Collaborative and a graduate student in philosophy, art, and social thought at the European Graduate School. At the time of her death, Akilah was living in Brooklyn and working on a book version of The Putter's Notebook and her master's thesis, among other projects. We would like to thank Barbeo Barros Gizzi for allowing us to include the original complete version of her artwork entitled The She Said Dialogues on the cover of this edition from Nightboat. Barbeo created the image in 1999 in response to Akilah's book, and details of the image appeared on the original cover. We are also grateful to Eleni Sikelianos, Anne Waldman, Althea Bruscato, Teresa Hurst, who took a lot of the black and white photos that you're seeing here, Rachel Levitsky, Erica Hunt, Briar Essex, and Juliette Palermo for important help along the way. Finally, we are deeply thankful to Tracy Morris for her beautiful foreword. Tracy couldn't be here with us today to read couldn't come today to read this herself. And to Stephen Motika, Lindsay Bolt, H.R. Hegnauer, J. Elizabeth Elijah, and the rest of the incredible Nightboat team for your patient and loving work on this book. I also want to, and we want to thank Belladonna today and James Loop, especially for all of this work, and a really special thanks to H.R. Hegnauer for the work on the audio and the video. It was incredible and very special. Thank you so much, H.R.
Akilah's work.
Marsha.
Akilah's work was always ahead of its time. Akilah's work was always ahead of its time. And we are so thankful that these dialogues are polyalogues with the self, with lovers, friends, family, time, God, memory, Blackness as an eruptive force, and so much more will continue to be heard in the world. We hope that communities everywhere will take this book and read it aloud together and share its gifts with one another to help us all continue to honor Akilah's important legacy. Akilah, we miss you so terribly. Your beautiful and challenging work continues to push us into the future through the force of the flesh memory.
Thank you so much, Marcia, and thank you, Laura, and thank you to all of the readers who have come together to read this work so movingly and so deeply and so beautifully for Akilah, whose 60th birthday it is today, and to Nightboat for bringing this wonderful work back to the world. And Akilah's work in person continues to resonate and ripple more widely for us all of us in the poetry world. The proceeds from this event are going to Community Health Action, which Marcia chose as an organization that will continue Akilah's work to improve access to much needed health care to all who need it. We need that sort of work desperately. And I want to invite everybody to, we're going to open the Zoom to an informal space of sharing. If you want to stay and just share feelings, memories, whatever you like for a little while to just continue this event on in an informal way. I wish we could be in person as always, but for now, we will stay on the Zoom for a little bit later. So again, this is, if you want to change your view to gallery, we can just relax and share. So thank you all again for coming tonight so much and for all of your beautiful voices.